I am super tired. And I'm not talking my standard typical I can't even speak. Then again, that's normal for me. I literally been up for 14 hours now. Due to me just being dumb. So, I'm going to react to this video. And as soon as it's done, and I make the thumbnail, I am going to bed. Hell, I may be too lazy to make a thumbnail until tomorrow. I am literally running on fumes right now, so don't expect anything super funny from me, please. I know people are going to expect from me anyways, but... Anyways, without further ado, why am I over here? Let's begin.
Ooh, you're a nice chunky one, aren't you? There's a lot to grab there. I can't wait to put you in that slot.
Pause.
And I suppose the game isn't that bad either.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot the one thing I always do. This is a Caddicarus video. If you haven't figured out that we're doing a marathon over him. And we are doing the one full world of PS1 demo discs. Now you know. He did.
And this is why cartridges stay in pens. You know what you need? A hole in the middle. Bang! Huh. Demo discs. Haven't seen one of these in a while. Do you remember these?
Surprisingly, no.
Beef. There was a time not too long ago where you could try out a big budget AAA game months before it came out. Yeah, I know. It's unspeakable nowadays, but yeah, most if not all big games.
No. The demo discs are now the releases. The patches, the DLC, is the actual game. Thank you, EA.
That you were looking to buy for a certain console gave you the chance to try before you buy. Kind of like a t-shirt. You go to the shop, find the shirt, try it on in the changing room, decide you don't like it, and then burn it in the street.
Now you listen here, I'm not a big dum-dum. I'm fully aware that today you can still download free trials of games on Steam, Nintendo's eShop, or elsewhere. But when it comes to big budget AAA releases, it's not as common as it once was to get a free trial of a game, because there's just no point anymore. Companies want your pre-order money. They want you to buy first and decide if you like it later, which I find so sad that I'll eat every baby lamb until they stop. And what do we do when we're sad?
We make a
healthy milkshake.
And then we pretend we're children again, because nothing heals a bad day better than... When it came to free trials of games, no company were as prolific or memorable as getting them out as PlayStation were in the mid to late 90s. And they genuinely helped my younger self decide what games I should save my pocket money for, and which ones I should walk past in the shops and...
Demos, short for demonstration of PlayStation not incarnation, kicked complete and total sack back in the day. They were a huge part of my gaming childhood, especially since I didn't get PS1 games for birthdays or Christmases. So these discs not only showed me the best places to spend my pocket money when I saved up enough, but I also found myself replaying them constantly for a quick kick of something new after I finished Toy Story 2 for the billionth time. I loved these things all the way up to the PS3, so today I wanted to spend half an hour talking to you all about them because my girlfriend left me.
Part 1. A history part of the video. Back in the early 90s, these trial versions of games could be commonly found stuck on a floppy, and that isn't as nice as it sounds. Since PC games like Wolfenstein 3D were so small in terms of file size, it was pretty easy for the developers to chop them up into single episodes or a group of stages and load them onto cheap old floppy disks, which could then be sold en masse incredibly cheaply. And this was called Shareware.
By the way, this song I'm about to play you, I downloaded earlier today, and it's 1 megabyte bigger than the entirety of Doom was back in 1993.
Seriously?
Just to give you an idea how easy this was to do.
This would then allow you to easily get a taster of what the full game would be like straight away, and often for the same price as a corn on the cob.
Oh yeah, I remember. One of my telecom friends said that he was able to play the original Doom on his printer. How the fuck is that possible? God, the storage and graphics back then was so small compared to nowadays. Gigabytes. No, not gigabytes. Metabytes. I think that's what they're called. I always forget. I'm tired. Yeah, that's not even worth like a couple letter text on graphic cards, man. If that. Jesus, we came a long way.
Then, if you really liked it, you could buy the full corn on the cob. This method of bite-sized game distribution proved popular enough that when the original Doom came out, id Software thought that people would rather spend their $3 on 2 baguettes so they could make a baguette, and made it so the first episode of Doom wasn't on a floppy disk, but uploaded to the internet for completely free as shareware. The idea being that because it was so small, easy to digest, and doesn't cost anything, like your mum, you could easily download it and then would be encouraged to share it around even further with friends or family and stir up even more hype. Then once the shareware trial ended, your computer screen would then give you a price for the full game that you'd have to mail order.
We take a larger game and break it into several smaller parts, and we put the first part out in Shareware so that people can try it and see if they like it. And if they do, they can order the rest of them back through us.
Shareware, whether on a low-price floppy disk or a free download, was essentially interactive advertising, and it's ingenious. It's an ad that you chose to be a part of and actually enjoy. I mean, the last ad I enjoyed was when the cat was playing the accordion and then it got stepped on. Aside from Shareware available to download, though, you could even get catalogs with images and descriptions of hundreds of Shareware floppy disks ready to be mail-ordered directly to you. Is that his mouth or his butthole? You could try out such heart-stopping classics as Clyde's Adventure, Bricks, Funny Face 2.
What's in the box?
Borders, Corners and Frames, Oh My, Moraf's World. Is that a loaf of bread with a beard? And my favourite game of all time, Craps.
Slowly but surely, though, Shareware turned into my last cat. It fell in the toilet and died. Not just because technology was speeding ahead at a rapid pace.
Whoa, look at it go!
But because Shareware itself was way too easy to, well, share, and often way too easy for people to edit and exploit. Like your dad. Plus, since some of these full versions of the games weren't that much bigger than the demos, you'd find that people would just complete the Shareware trial and then move on to the next thing, meaning that no real money went anywhere.
Another problem was brought up by the main developer of the original Doom, John Carmack, leading to Doom 2 not getting a Shareware release at all, because he said that most people considered that they had finished the original Doom just by finishing the free Shareware episode. It was too much content for free, and for most people, the gameplay was too similar for most of the demo, so investing in the full thing wouldn't be worth it to them. This didn't stop Shareware at all, though. It would continue to be uploaded online ready to be downloaded, and floppy disks still kept coming out, even from the change of 5¼ inch floppies to 3½ inch floppies. You'd get free Shareware preview levels of games on floppy disks bundled with other games from the same publisher. There'd be free promotional Shareware floppy disks handed out to magazine subscribers. Some people would completely screw up the disks and change assets, music and sound effects from some Shareware and then resell them to unknowing customers. It was out of control.
I knew it. Put it in your pen. Don't
I never thought I'd say this, but it was the Wild West of floppy disks. Long story short, even though great for distribution and word of mouth, Shareware wasn't financially viable enough and too exploitative to be a decent long-term business plan.
Part 2. And then CDs happened.
Damn.
Hi, I'm Chris Sorrell. Let me take you through the world of medieval.
Sure, CDs were on PC games, but I'm talking about when CD technology hit the video game mainstream, specifically with the PlayStation, which dominated the CD console market in the 90s. CDs were like babies covered in soup. They had a lot of stuff on them, they were really thin, and they wouldn't like it if you scratched them. More importantly though, they were just the right shape and size to fit inside your trouser legs. Not the babies, the discs.
I don't have any games in my pants, what are you talking about?
Games were getting more technical, they were getting bigger, they were getting much harder to explain and show off, and they were getting expensive. So playable demos of games during this era were probably the most important to get right. They couldn't get away with the Shareware business model. You can't just learn how to become a communist for nothing, you needed to pay for it! Companies needed to make money back on full game purchases, which Shareware sometimes didn't do, and needed to get people financially interested in trying the games out to begin with to cover the costs of advertising the games in the first place. They couldn't give you too much and let you edit everything so you felt like buying the full game would be pointless like with Doom, but had to be good enough to make you want to get the full games and actively make you want to buy more demos in the future so companies can keep promoting upcoming games and keep the cash cycle going. Or they could just be like Nintendo and don't do demos at all. Just make your customers spend $60 on Superman 64 without any clue. I'm sure they won't mind. We can't mass produce demos. Cartridges are too valuable and expensive. Part 3. Magazinis are good for your peenies. So what better way to get people interested in
Pause.
buying these PS1 games
Wait, that's
than
time
by,
out.
instead of offering tiny individual demos, bundle small portions of multiple games on a single disc, including video trailers for games not ready to be played yet, and then hiding it inside a thing you have to pay for, a book. The gamer's favourite thing. Yes, in the UK at least, most if not all PS1 demos came as gifts.
And we already have checked out that video. If I remember to, and that's a big doubt if I remember or not, icon appears now. Or sometime in this video, I don't know. I'm running on fumes. This tea ain't helping. I should have gotten coffee. Damn it.
Gifts alongside the official UK PlayStation magazine. And that's not including all the demos that came with kids' meals at restaurants and stuff like that. This meant that PS1 game demos could appear anywhere. Game stores, video rental shops, Pizza Hut, the dentist, in between my fingers, in space, the morgue. Putting these demos in magazines meant the advertising was more widespread than ever. Just go to the supermarket, buy your dead granny some flowers for her funeral, and while you're at it, pick up a demo of Smash Court Tennis. And up until a certain point, anybody could buy these things. You see here where the magazine is talking about how the newspapers hated GTA for how violent it was? Well, as long as you were 3 years old or over, you could buy a demo of it. This is terrible.
Oh, God. Well, at least we found something that the UK and United States had in common. Quick media law lesson, free of charge. So you don't have to pay $3,000 for college. One of the reasons why America started the ESB, or the rating system, was because of situations like this. Not GTA in particular, but Mortal Kombat. I think it was 2, if I remember correctly. Again, I'm tired. Said it was okay for people 7 and up, and a bunch of Karens and moms complained about it because they couldn't leave the little Jimmy playing on the consoles on arcades by themselves while they did whatever they wanted to do. No, instead of being parents and saying, "No, you can't play that, it goes against what I want," we create a whole rating system just so that I am happy. Plus a few other situations, but I'm too tired to go into it. Let's just say it's the current trend in America for the last 20 years. And I won't go any further with that.
As far as I'm aware as well, there was a US equivalent to this called PlayStation Underground, but that never happened in my country, so choke on talcum powder and die. This also provided a service to 3 types of person at once: the people looking for multiple demos of upcoming PS1 games, the people looking to read up reviews of games that just came out, and the greedy pigs that wanted both. Even better, since a lot of the console users in the mainstream at the time weren't massive computer whizzes, that meant that CDs were not only far easier than floppy disks to physically replicate for manufacturing, but also meant that the average user didn't have the knowledge to do anything bad with the discs, copy them, or repurpose them for reselling. Besides, there was too much data on these discs to upload all of them for free on the internet, like what early shareware allowed you to do anyway. For internet back in the mid-90s, trying to do that with these discs would take you a... Even if people could do all of this though, the effort wouldn't be worth it anyway, because these demos didn't offer enough content for each individual game on the discs, but offered just enough with the amount of games on them that the demo disc being a free gift along with a gaming publication made it a sure, why not kind of purchase. And that, for gaming advertising, was a goldmine.
What?
Why do I have 2 copies of Disc 58? Not to mention, it was way more cost-effective than renting if you wanted to try out multiple games only for a little bit, and you even got to keep your very own physical souvenir with exclusive artwork on the sleeves. They're nothing crazy, but definitely unique. They're like little plastic postcards. Dear Mum, having a nice time. Wish you were here. Where are you?
And that's why I've kept all of these ones collected by other family members over the years, because they're like little photographs of the past. They take me right back. Like the time that Metal Gear Solid was the best game on the planet, the time when animated pit crews were an exciting game feature, and the time where disgusting sticky old men thought that a load of polygons were hotter than their own wives.
Let's do some tumbling.
These demos introduced me to some of my favorite games.
Yeah, we saw that one image last video. What do you expect from Horny Man?
Games on the PlayStation, and even underrated gems that never got mainstream attention. With them, I found out about Mr. Domino, Monkey Hero, Parappa the Rapper, RC Stunt Copter, Klonoa, Overboard, Oddworld, Broken Sword 2, Tombi, Lego Racers, Ghost in the Shell, Medieval, Ape Escape, Kingsley's Adventure, Legacy of Kain, Discworld, Cooler World, Vib Ribbon, Jamalami, and even Tomb 3 Raider. It was like having a miniature PlayStation museum of games on your shelves. In fact, I've replayed all of these demos so many times, the discs themselves are buggered beyond belief.
Damn.
Or they would just stop and boot you back to the main menu immediately. A woman getting into a car, that's all I need. I'm buying the game now.
Oh, and if you don't like flashing lights, look away right now, because this demo disc I have is the most mangled one of the lot.
Thank you for the heads up.
Buy your game if it didn't kill me!
Did you know that Q-Bert was coming? I didn't until I saw his nose. Sure, not every demo was perfect, like here when they tell you there's a trailer for Gex 3D, but it's actually for Gex Deep Cover Gecko. They outright spoiled a plot twist in Final Fantasy VII's trailer before the game even came out. And they did promote some real steaming cack in their time. Oh look! Spice World! Everyone's favourite! They don't just sing, oh I know that, they also like to steal your soul! The music for some of the trailers was a little weird too, like the ending of the Gran Turismo video where it just sounds like someone retching. Sometimes though, these discs would even give you special features like tech demos, music videos, hints and tips for video games like Tony Hawk, and even extra long behind the scenes videos like with the making of Medieval. What the hell is that thing doing there? And let's not forget the making of Disney's Hercules, the video game.
Face Medusa's wrath.
Excuse me, say that again?
Face Medusa's wrath.
Oh right, sorry I didn't hear you. I was too busy sitting in my bath working on some moth and ignoring everyone like a sociopath. Don't forget the competition videos either, when they showed off people's highest scores of games like Tony Hawk with Run of the Month. But to be honest, there was no point competing against them, because nobody stood a chance against Lethal Lee or Da Boss. My favourite video I found on these discs though was this short film called Enlightenment, which is actually just an ad for PlayStation accessories, but is filmed like a martial arts movie, and it's completely amazing for no other reason than this bit here.
What
Not
the
only that,
hell?
but I loved having these things for the artwork. I mean, look at the Resident Evil 2 demo cover even. This was old promotional art made for the game before they even figured out who the main character would be. I have one of the original promotional posters of that in my office, actually. Like, that's an adorably cool bit of gaming history. Gotta be honest though, I'm not really sure about Agent Armstrong over here. What the hell am I looking at? Everything from his 2 belly buttons to him looking like he's stuck in a nappy makes me want to vomit. And why does he look like a balloon? Is he gonna fly away from the case?
He'll be the second Armstrong to go to the moon.
There wasn't only the cover art though, just look inside the sleeves of these things. Even though very tiny, these little screenshots and their rounded rectangular borders make them look like windows into the past when looking at them today. And, huh? What's that? Suck it and see. Talk about a different time. Look at this teaser image from Crash 2 featuring a screenshot from a part of the game that doesn't exist in the final version. I love looking at this stuff. It's like an alternate dimension. Like if geese had teeth, Sonic the Hedgehog had teeth, women had teeth, teeth had teeth, and I had teeth. Where did my teeth go? And when you actually got around to playing the games, it's so surreal to go back to demo editions of some of my favorites and even have singular levels in this permanent state of unfinished or with graphics and sound effects missing. For instance, in Crash 2's demo, most of the sound effects are missing. And whenever you try to slide jump, Crash just stops in his place after he lands and doesn't keep on running. In Spyro 1, the hub world music wasn't finished yet, so they just used the theme song from the main menu. And in Karashi/Intelligence Cube, there's no music at all. Or in A Bug's Life.
Just picking up grain here.
In Crash 3, Crash has no shadow, and the bonus stage music hasn't been included yet. In Medieval's trailer, you see footage from a dragon chase level that never made it into the final game. In Oddworld, all of the areas they don't want you going into are boarded up with demo-exclusive signs they rendered in-game, which they also do with 3D objects in Tombi and even with rock doors in Spyro. And speaking of Spyro, they didn't even finish the rescued dragon scenes for the playable levels they had, so just put the text on screen showing off what they said to you. Run! Run! Which was probably for the best. I'm getting a little weird. All of these demos are like interactive concept art. You've gotta love it. What is happening to Silent Hill? You know what? I don't know. Looks weren't everything though. To top it off, the gameplay all of these demos gave you tasted just sweet enough where you could tell if you wanted the full thing or tell if a game will be a piece of feces. And the variety of games on the discs never left you feeling ripped off for paying for the magazine that it came with.
Let's be honest though. We're all cheap bastards, aren't we?
Yeah.
Everyone loves a freebie.
Yes.
Little finger up there. So what better way to introduce PlayStation
Yes.
owners to the world of demo discs than by bundling the console with an exclusive demo disc of its own?
Part 4. 1. You cannot get much more classic PlayStation than this. You hear me, Sony? Imagine unboxing your PS1 in 1995 and booting this up. It must have been a visual gasm. Look how 90s this is. Listen to that pounding drum and bass. Check out all of the garbled text that's throwing random stats at you. And look at all of these nouns. Memory, data engine, graphics, RAM.
Did you know your PS1 was also a thesaurus?
We get a little bit of full motion video, which still makes me want to shrivel up and cry, and then boom! There it is, folks. The second coming of video games. Demo 1. It's a demo, and it's
Number 1, hey!
I mean, you can't argue with that.
Hey, Daddy,
it's my turn on the PlayStation. Let me have a go. Oh, I'm turning into Bernie Sanders! Just look at this cover, and look at this menu. It's so damn stylish. It's a mixture of Tron and The Matrix. It's tricks. And if the trailer of Twisted Metal is anything to go by, these tricks weren't for kids. With a whopping 5 playable games, 2 interactive tech demos, and 8 videos that showed off pure gameplay and no stupid cinematic trailers, this was most, if not all, of the UK's introduction to the PS1. Just imagine watching videos for Jumping Flash, Tekken, Ridge Racer, Starblade Alpha, and then having the chance to play Wipeout, Loaded, Destruction Derby, and Battle Arena Toshinden. Oh god, Sony, were you trying to make people throw the PS1 in a furnace? Don't worry, blokes, I know how to make people buy PlayStation games. Get an old man and put a fish up his nose. Did you ever want to live out your fantasy of a manta ray swimming slowly towards you while Nightmare Clown music plays in the background? Well, you can do that in Demo 1.
Okay. Interesting choice.
You can also make this T-Rex open its stupid mouth.
Strangely enough though, despite being called Demo 1, this wasn't actually the first demo released for the PlayStation. It was the second one. Because according to this gigantic archive list of European PlayStation demo discs, Croc was apparently the first demo ever released. I would also like to take this time to say whoever came up with this list is amazing, and thank you so much for compiling all of this info in one place. But you're also a completely insane and unstable psychopath, and I'm not going to shake your hand in case I can.
You're one to talk, man. You're the one that keeps getting yourself into situations where you're reading bad reviews and playing toddler games. Takes one to know one. That's all I'll say. Thank you for your service, though. Thank you so much.
Have something.
Part 5. Part 4 was too short. After this is where all the official UK PlayStation Magazine demo discs started coming out on the regular, month by month. And my collection is like my body hair. Pretty substantial, but far from complete. The earliest demo I have, aside from Demo 1, is actually Disc 3 from Volume 2 of the official UK PlayStation Magazine collection. Purely because all the other demo discs before it, including Volume 1, were in flimsy, horrible cardboard sleeves and they disintegrate in my sweaty hands. From there, I have a complete set up to Disc 54, where it then becomes a bit of a mess and I missed out on a load because a lot of the demos started reusing older games to fill the space, and they didn't feel anywhere near as exciting anymore. Aww. By the way, I'm fully aware that my collection jumps from Disc 19 Volume 2 to Disc 38, but that is actually the order that it came out, because Demo 19 Volume 2's disc cover is technically Disc 37, which then moved on to Disc 38 and not Disc 1 Volume 3. Now, I don't know...
I am sorry, but my OCD will have a fit. Are you sure there's nothing in the middle of that? Oh, God. No. I couldn't handle that, man. Good on you.
know anything about the Volume 1 series of these demos. I never played or owned any of them, but I can talk about the start of Volume 2, and these demo discs from the first disc of Volume 2 up until disc 45 are easily my favourite era of PS1 demo circulation.
That is the most boring sentence I've ever said.
Not only were the game selections from the mid-90s, which meant some of the best PS1 games were still new and upcoming, but every single demo that got released in this period had the trippiest and coolest backgrounds in the menus for you to cycle through the games, and
I know how to create that now. If you want some vintage backgrounds, let me know. I can make those. But for a cost. We can discuss pricing later, if desired.
And I don't know who picked those ugly fonts I can barely read, but I strangely want to kiss you. Every demo disc released month after month didn't only give you brand new, utterly sickening fonts for the games, but even provided a slightly different hypnotic screen for you to watch and obey the walrus. The walrus is my life. The walrus will look after me. The walrus will love me. The walrus is all-knowing. The walrus is all-powerful. The walrus will guide me to eternity.
I took too much LSD for this shit.
They had multiple styles of kaleidoscopes, a lava lamp in a cave, an alien having a poo, a twisting electric stove, these really cool gears that look like the inner workings of your console, psychedelic starfish, a pulsating living raisin, oh, a strawberry giving birth to the PlayStation symbols that are crying and screaming to escape.
None of these ever made any damn sense, but it didn't matter. They were all simply cool. End of. And you know what? I'm going to give a shout out to my USA brothers as well, because with your demo discs, you not only got some pretty adorable and creative menus, but even got a lady
cool.
to talk to you.
Whew, that was a close one. I wonder why they...
You're the first girl to ever talk to me in a while. Before anyone says anything, I am joking. I still have my mom.
keep shooting missiles at me?
Probably because they're aiming at the octopus on your head.
What you need to remember, though, is that as charming as these things are, they are still advertisements for upcoming games, and they were going to say anything to sell them to you. Fade to Black, still one of the best 3D adventures we've seen on the PlayStation. No! Roscoe McQueen. We have exclusive footage of him wielding his famous giant hose.
Is that a euphemism?
For ages 3 to 10. Carmageddon. Car plus flesh equals big mess.
I didn't know Caitlyn Jenner had a video game.
Moto Racer 2. The most fun you can have in a leather suit. Well, you clearly haven't been to my birthday parties. Toka Touring Cars. Ever wanted to race a saloon car around a wet circuit in the Midlands? Go for it. Do you want me to buy the game or not? Crash Bandicoot 3. Play a sizey chunk of the Coot's latest. Is that a slur?
Coming at you soon, the game of the century.
Man, what could that be? Oh god, I don't know. Final Fantasy IX.
Brian Lara Cricket.
Do you guys like Lara Croft? Well, you should try out Lara Cricket.
And the music for this run of the demo discs? Come on! I mean, come on!
It has a groove.
Yeah, that's yeah. I'm gonna push out a log!
It's surreal, it's ethereal, it's mechanical, it's bassy, it's rich with multiple 90s techno sounds layered against each other. More importantly to me though, it's weirdly relaxing and welcoming for a nice buffer in between the demos of games that you'll be playing. It screams PlayStation to me and how unique and futuristic it was, much like the games the PS1 would be famous for. And combining the almost minimalist sounds with the visuals made you feel like you were being transported to another world every time you booted the demo up. Even the game selection noise was satisfying. Yeah, you don't get that kind of oomph anymore. And then, in a move I'll never understand, for disc 39 only, they changed the music into this weird ploddy stalking song.
Nah. What the fuck?
And got rid of that metallic and chunky selection sound to replace it with shutting the garage door. Immediately after that, I guess they had a few complaint letters because it went back to normal, thank God. But that's the great thing about demo discs, you never know what you're gonna get when you pop it into the PlayStation. Like here in disc 42, when you're promised a video showing off gameplay of A Bug's Life the video game, but then all you really get is a trailer for the movie, which was already out when this demo came out. Thanks for that official UK PlayStation magazine, good to know that you're a filthy liar.
Hello?
At least there are some pretty great trailers though, like...
How did me and him thought of the same fucking joke? Within a matter of milliseconds. How did we... Oh, God, me and him are on the same wave level right now, and I am just tired. Is it because I've been drinking English breakfast tea all day? Is that why I turned into a British man? Oh, why did I do that? Remember to sleep, guys. Don't be me. Don't be Sonic.
For circuit breakers when they manage to play the game and crash their own cars in perfect sync with the electric guitar shreds in the music. Lest we forget, when Disc 9 Volume 2 was released to the public, we all got our first taste of PlayStation's Netyarose. For those unaware, Netyarose was PlayStation's development kit for indie devs just looking to make their own games for fun. With a special mail order, you could grab yourself a region-free programmable black PS1 along with C-language code programs and manuals, then allowing you to hook up the PS1 to a computer and develop your own games from scratch, which you'd then be able to upload to the Netyarose servers and potentially have your games featured in demo discs, and I mean full games, for free. A concept way ahead of its time for sure, and there are some damn good games that would get featured like Adventure Game, Terra Incognita, Blitter Boy, Hover Racing, Time Slip, Super Bub Contest, and the incredible Cone Man, which still has the greatest death sound in video game history. But for all the good games Netyarose had, what was the first one that they ever showed off to demonstrate the power of the technology? Inside My Tubes, the video game. I think the best thing to come out of Netyarose, though, is the tackiest advertisement I've ever seen. I made better videos in Windows Movie Maker when I was 13. Have you ever dreamt of creating your own game? Oops, sorry, games for PlayStation? No, I haven't. Have you ever dreamt of using something other than Comic Sans? Oh, Jesus in my Christmas, we have an address, people! I'm looking this up. What do you think that building is up to now? Nobody wants it. Well, you know what? I'm not surprised. If you can't even end your trailer correctly, why should you have a building?
Oh.
Yes? Oh, now I definitely want one.
When you weren't getting your jollies from a magazine demo disc, though, you were getting demos bundled in with other games from the same publisher, and they all had their own cheeky ways of showing them off. Universal Interactive games like Crash and Spyro would hide demos for the other series in their main menus behind a cheat code, drumming up the mystery and playground gossip about what the special secret code was and what was hiding behind it. Namco would take a more simple approach and leave the demo disc in the box of another game with a sticker on the case letting you know it was in there, which was great when it wasn't there. Konami, though, would go above and beyond, like with my copy of Metal Gear Solid. It not only included a demo disc of the upcoming Silent Hill, but even a sweet little booklet that included a story prologue, controller map, and an exclusive miniature poster. In fact, these singular exclusive game demo discs proved so popular and collectible that the UK PlayStation magazine dropped the numbered entry discs for a couple of issues. There was one time they used a singular demo for Abe's Odyssey, which according to the following issue didn't work on most people's PlayStation, so that was a good one. And in 1998, they left you with a collector's edition Tekken 3 only demo disc. It did come with a really cool booklet, which I no longer have, but still, this on its own makes a really nice shelf ornament, next to my stress sausage.
By the way, do you guys remember that
minute, why you have a stress? Why you have it? Why? Can I borrow it?
boring, ploddy stalking song we had for a single disc a couple of demos ago? Well, the official UK PlayStation magazine thought they'd get people to like it one more time and put it back in for disc 45.
Then once disc 46 rolled out, they must have had more complaint letters about the music change and went, well fine, screw you! Let's change the music entirely from this point onwards. And instead of making it ploddy, we'll make it hardcore! I don't mind this era of the demo discs. It was the late 90s, so the games they advertised were still interesting and cool. You got your Ape Escapes, your Speed Freaks, your 40 Winks, but this was definitely the start of the PlayStation wanting to be taken a little more seriously and not like a baby toy for old men that crinkle when they walk. Not only did the music change to feel more like a young adult's nightclub, but the trippy backgrounds got a lot less imaginative. The font choices got really boring, the artwork for the cases started getting a little more contemporary and bland to look more like a magazine ad, and they even got rid of the selection sound and just kept it silent.
Like I mentioned earlier, my collection of demo discs is nice and complete from Volume 2, Disc 3, all the way to Disc 54. Because after Disc 54, Everything went majorly downhill. The charm and the character of the menus and the background music was completely gone, and the game selections and the trailers even started aiming more and more towards a boisterous audience. They were trying to attract the British young lads going down to the clubs every night.
Do not get me wrong for even a second, you still did get some gold hidden in the carpet of gum and cigarettes. You got your Spider-Mans, your Muppet Race Manias, your Tomby 2s, your Tony Hawks, but the amount of focus on boring regular people on the front covers was absurd. The amount of demo reruns of games that were already out was frustrating, and the sheer amount of focus they pushed onto football games was ridiculous. I'm not talking about sports games in general, I'm talking mostly football. How many times can you kick a ball with a man made out of cardboard before you go outside? They added in a new video feature called the Goal of the Month, where most of the goals were scored by this lovely gentleman. They were adding so much more into the already existing football franchises that the trailers for them became bloated and meaningless. And in this awesome little featurette of coverage from the Tekken 3 World Championships in 1999, when the video cuts to interviews with celebrities, guess who they invited to the event? And only invited to the event. Football people! Football, football, football!
Watch the football! Watch.
Were the British trying to be stereotypical of themselves? I'm sorry, this feels like something an American would have done. The only thing that's missing is a bottle of water.
Watch it, he's gonna move!
In fact, the amount of football games got so stupid that at one point, a man named Ronaldo appeared and challenged football itself to a versus battle. When you add this in with the fact that they used these colourless and less hypnotic backgrounds, and that they changed the music again at Demo 58 to the worst sounding menu theme of the lot, and kept that exact copy-paste style all the way to the final demo disc at number 108 for 50 issues, it's obvious who their target demographic was until the last days of the PS1. Even the selection noise sounds like someone starting a punch-off in a bar fight. The demos lost the uniqueness. They lost that little extra bit of what made the earlier demos stand out from each other aside from the game selection, and not even the added downloadable cheats to your memory card could entice me back.
The final demo disc I bothered getting was disc 101 in 2003. Yes, they were still releasing PlayStation demo discs that late into its life cycle. And the main reason I got this one was not only because you got Tomb Raider 1, 2 and 3 on here, as demos obviously, but you also got loads of hidden gems and rarer games which I didn't own at the time, so this was the only way I could play them. This is a good collection of games. I think there's like 12 on here.
But now I'm going to ask you something personal. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you where you live. I already know that.
Take a guess, what PS1...
Well, joke's on you. I know where you live. Checkmate. The question is, who's going to get the money first to get onto that airplane? You have children to feed. I have college debt to pay. Who will win? Who's going to do it first? I have a Filmo down in the description.
games they included on the final UK demo disc ever released. Like, the ultimate final send-off to the PlayStation's legacy. Take a wild guess what they included on that disc. I'll give you 5 minutes to answer. No, you're wrong! They included the best game ever made! Archer McLean's 3D Pool!
Part 6.
What?
Bye-bye, Tinky Winky. After this, demo discs would continue to run with the official PlayStation...
Why are you bringing back Tinky Winky? Then we learned from last episode that I have bad issues with that damn show. Now I know you are teasing me from the future.
UK magazine up until the PS3. Xbox would start selling...
I meant from the past, god damn it.
Really cheap compilation demo volumes called the Xbox Exhibition Box X Series 1 Bition X. And as for me, I did have a few PS2 demo discs from the official UK magazine when it transitioned into the next console, but I lost all of them. And I don't care. I mean, just look at the menus here. It's like being at the hospital. It's so sterile and way too serious. I think when the PS2 rolled around, Sony had just decided to...
I legit got cold shivers because of that. Holy shit, that was bad. Ooh.
appeal to as many adults as possible, but at the cost of all the charm and character I remembered loving from the PS1 demos. This isn't nostalgia talking either, because I was still a kid when PS2 came out. I am heavily nostalgic for the PS2, and I did discover some great games from these demos like Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, Airblade, Eco, and Vampire Knight. But aside from that, these discs hold no memories for me whatsoever. When the UK PlayStation magazine transitioned from PS2 to PS3, well, the demos lost everything in all but the name demo disc. I kept a lot of these, don't get me wrong, but at that point, all you did was put the disc inside the PS3 and you just got given a list of games to download. Like, that's not exciting, what is that?
Especially disappointing since you could just download most, if not all of these demos directly from the PlayStation Store for free anyway, so it was at that point companies realised it was just too much of a waste of money when they could just upload them for nothing.
The most recent demo I remember downloading was for the Medieval remake, which wasn't too long ago, so demos are still very much a thing. And since it's all done on the internet now, you can add in more exclusive content and unlockables for the final game when it launches to entice you to get the demo, like with Sir Dan's helmet in the Medieval demo. But man, it just doesn't feel special anymore. There's nothing to collect now, nothing to physically hold in your hands and reminisce, and these online demos even get updated as development on the full game continues, so you'll never have those permanent early builds with missing sounds and graphics ready to play ever again.
And hey, do I even need to remind you what happened to PT, the playable teaser of a game that never got released? That wasn't a physical demo, and it got removed from the PlayStation Store, even though it was completely free and wasn't harming anybody by being there in the first place, and now it's gone forever and nobody can download it or experience it ever again. God, games suck! Why do you play them? Why do any of us play them? You know what? I'm done with games forever. I'm going to read a book. Yeah, you heard me, everybody. We're going to be looking in the next video at the magazines that made this demo disc so popular in the first place. I mean, let's be real, you can't go wrong with good old paper and ink. No!
Subscribe and hit that bell.
Follow me on Instagram.
Well, we always seen that episode. Again, icon should appear somewhere in this video, if I don't forget. And remember to check out Caddicarus in the description down below. And if you want, you can subscribe to me, like, comment. It's up to you. Anyways, I need to hit the bed. I am literally about to crash right now. Peace.